What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my review of the FIIDO D21 e-bike. Now, I've never owned an e-bike up until now, so hopefully this review provides you with a unique perspective. And for your convenience, I have provided an affiliate link for the FIIDO D21 in the video description. I did personally order this e-bike through FIIDO's official store, and it did arrive at my doorstep in less than a week. Now, the e-bike will arrive in a pretty large box, and it is nearly assembled already, so that does make setup very quick and easy. Now, what's really cool about this e-bike is that the battery is actually located in the seat column. So with that design, you can easily charge the battery separate from the bike itself. Now, I can see that being especially convenient for those that live in apartments where it's not practical to bring an entire e-bike into your home to charge it. Now, one downside though with this design is that if you park your e-bike out in public with the battery in it, then somebody technically can just go up and grab the battery and take off with it. So I do recommend running some sort of cable lock through the seat itself. I'd also like to mention that the e-bike did arrive with a broken taillight bracket. Now, fortunately, FIIDO's customer support was very responsive, and they did quickly send out a replacement part for that. Another thing I want to point out as well is that this e-bike does come with 2 mudguards included, and they are optional to install, but for some reason, there weren't any instructions in the box on how to actually install them. Now, installing the front mudguard was fairly straightforward, but it does appear that to install the rear mudguard, you do have to open up the control box on the back of the e-bike, and since there weren't any instructions on how to do that, I didn't feel completely comfortable with taking that apart, so I did end up using zip ties to secure the rear mudguard. And I do realize that that's not the official way to do it, but it did end up working out pretty well for me. So with the exception of that broken taillight bracket, and being confused about how to install the mudguard, everything else did go smoothly with the FIIDO D21. Now, this e-bike is already very small and portable as it is, but it also has the ability to fold in half. And in addition to that, you can also fold the handlebars down to make it even more portable. So having that folding design definitely makes this e-bike a lot more versatile. So if you want to put it in the back of your car, you'll have no problem doing that. You can also easily store it without it taking up too much space. And I can also see this portability coming in handy on public transit as well, because you can easily take the bike with you while avoiding many of the inconveniences of traveling on public transit with a full-sized bicycle. Now, even though this bike does fold in half, the folding mechanism is very durable, and the bike overall feels a lot more stable and sturdy than cheaper non-folding bicycles that I've used before. Now, despite the FIIDO D21's small size, the bike itself is very comfortable to ride. I am 6 feet tall, and I had no issues riding this bike for an extended period of time, so overall, FIIDO did an excellent job optimizing the design of this e-bike. So with the FIIDO D21, we do have a torque sensor included, which basically means that the e-bike can sense how much torque you're providing while pedaling, so you can get a more natural level of assistance from the electric motor. And that's definitely a nice touch, as it does make the riding experience a lot more comfortable, especially compared to some of the more cheaper e-bikes that are out there. Now, the FIIDO D21 offers a top speed of 25 kilometers per hour, which is equivalent to 15 miles per hour. And in the bike's most efficient mode, you can get a maximum range of 100 kilometers or 62 miles. Now, on the handlebar display, you can see your current speed, remaining battery, and have the ability to switch between 3 different modes. Now, mode 1 is the most efficient mode, where you do have to provide the most amount of pedaling, but you will get the longest range. And then mode 3, on the other hand, offers the maximum amount of assistance, but at the same time, the battery usage is not quite as efficient. Now, you can toggle between all 3 of those modes at a press of a button, and then you can also toggle the headlight and taillight with this display. Also located on the handlebar are the front and rear brakes, a bell, gear shifters, and then finally, there is a throttle. Now, by default, the throttle doesn't really do much at all. It will give you a quick boost to 3 miles per hour, but it can't really sustain any real movement on its own, which is on purpose. FIIDO does not advertise this e-bike as having a full throttle, so none of that surprises me. However, I did find a way to unlock the throttle so you can actually use it in a similar way to an e-scooter. Now, I can go into this in more detail in a separate video, but to unlock the throttle, all you have to do is turn on the bike, but keep the display off, then hold down both brakes, the M button on the display, and the throttle itself, at the same time for 8 seconds, and then you'll see a message saying E2 that will show up on the display. So once you see that, that does mean that the throttle has now been unlocked, and you're now able to technically ride the bike at full speed with zero pedaling, which is definitely really awesome. Now, despite having this ability, I do still find myself occasionally wanting to pedal by choice, as it does make the battery last a lot longer, and also my legs do get a little bit restless from doing nothing at all. But the full throttle is definitely super convenient when you do want to take a break from pedaling, but at the same time, you do want to make progress on your journey. And in case you're curious, charging this bike does take between 7 and 8 hours from empty, but since this bike does have such a long range, I don't really find myself needing to recharge it after each time that I do use it. But overall, I'm a huge fan of the FIIDO D21, and I'm completely satisfied with my purchase. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, this is my first e-bike, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but at the same time, I am looking forward to covering more of them here on the channel. But if you're looking for a well-built, quality e-bike that's not overly bulky, but still very useful and convenient, I definitely think the FIIDO D21 is worth considering. From my experience, it does everything as advertised, and being able to unlock that throttle makes things even better. But definitely take a look at the link in the video description to learn more about the FIIDO D21, and make sure to sub to the channel and stay tuned for follow-up videos related to this e-bike in the future. But this is Kevin here, coming at you with my review of the FIIDO D21, and I will see you in the next video.